Hey y'all, hey, we are back for another review. We are on the season finale of P-Valley, season 2. So let's jump right into it because it's going to be a lot of information as we get a lot of confirmations and questions answered that we've had throughout the season. So again, we are on season 2, episode 10, entitled Mississippi Rule. All right, so Andre and his wife, we know his wife was sitting, Brittany or whatever her name is, it don't matter at this point. But him and his wife was sitting there when him and Haley were kissing and making out or whatever at the end of the last episode. So Andre and his wife are sitting there arguing and basically over the fact that him sleeping around with Haley, even though they're still married, even though she was sleeping around first. And of course Haley is just sitting there in her devilish grin, eating the whole thing up, just happy about it. Kind of smirking about the situation. And essentially she just asked him, like, is this how you decide to get back at me for sleeping with my coworker? And simultaneously the supporters are starting to gather outside to get the results from the election for mayor. And so he sends Haley outside so he can talk to his wife. And so they're just talking or whatever. And of course, yes, this is my way of getting back at you because you did see with your coworker. I mean, this is the person that I think she intended to marry, but she ended up marrying Andre. And he was like, well, you have opportunity. She was like, no, I'm still in love with you, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, well, why did you never tell me about your dad? And he asked her, like, hey, would you have married me if you knew who my father was? Legit question. He told her, listen, I had a chance at being something, leaving a legacy, and my father did not fit into that picture, essentially. So, her and her father have status. They're from a well-to-do family, so it wouldn't look good for him as the son of a murderer to be coming into this family. So, essentially he killed off the thought of his father, which, I mean, I guess that's understandable. I didn't tell people I ain't got no daddy, and I do. He's just not shit, so what's the point in having one when he ain't worth a damn? So I feel you, Andre. I definitely feel you. She also claims, like I said, to still be in love, and he asked her, like, are you in love with the man I portrayed to you, or who I really am at my core? And of course we never got an answer because all she really knows is the person he presented to her by way of creating this fallacy of who he wants to be in order to fit in with her and her family. All right, so so that's what happened with that. All right, so then drunk Corbin comes stumbling in, interrupting the conversation. He is just high on the hog because Andre's been in the lead thus far, and they're about to call it. They're about to shut the votes down, and it's about to be a new mayor elected. And he gave us the impression that Andre won, which we later found out that he did not. But we'll get there. So now they have to go outside. Andre and his wife have to go outside and play happy couple for the people of Chucalissa because, while he may like Haley, Lakeisha Savage Girl, he still has an active wife that he has to portray, to the people for looks, for shits and giggles. Anyway. All right. Moving right along. DJ Never Scared brings Murder, after they get the fight calmed down or whatever, DJ Never Scared brings Murder back onto the stage to finish his solo that he didn't get to finish. And on the way out, he passes a mirror and he kind of looks at the reflection, basically in all different facets of who he is as LaMarcus, aka Lil Murder. And he takes his girls out and he takes the stage. Now, for me, I thought he was just gonna come out on stage, bring Uncle Clifford up and just tell the world, listen, this is me, this my girl, and y'all can't tell me shit about it. But he didn't do that. But he did see Maine in the audience, which would be a member of his rival gang, also Mercedes' love interest. Hard air quotes on that. And so he tells DJ, like cut the beat. And then he starts spitting his new song, which is 7 Pounds of Pressure. He starts spitting the lyrics a cappella, which is the song that he let Mercedes listen to, an unreleased song that he let Mercedes listen to at the end of last episode. And so he's spitting the lyrics or whatever. And he's speaking directly to Maine, kind of low-key confessing, like, I put a hot one in a dude and I ain't feel nothing about it. Kind of low-key taking the rap for Pico being dead through his lyrics, and then the beat drops or whatever. And then my girl Mercedes comes out dancing for her life to that 7 Pounds of Pressure. I don't know the song. I was going to learn it, but I'm too shy. I ain't going to do it. Okay, so this is what, like I said, this is what they're working on. And I did find it funny that the song was 7 Pounds of Pressure because now her and LaMarcus are bonded over this song because they both have a 7 Pounds of Pressure story this season. Now I don't know if that is information that they shared amongst each other, but they are bonded in the fact that they have now killed people based on their 7 pounds of applied pressure. So a man eventually just leaves, and I know that that's going to prove to be a problem next season. I'm sure of it. Especially with Little Murder deciding not to go on tour, which we'll get into later on in the review. But yeah. All right. Simultaneously, the church folks is over there praying over Patrice as the results are rolling in for who's gonna be the next mayor of Chucalissa. So they're giving their last hallelujahs up to the Lord, and everybody's just getting prepared for the results to come out, for who's gonna fuck the city up next, essentially. All right. Andre is outside and he's at the podium. He's ready to give the speech and he gets a call. Now we assumed the call was for him, but it was Interim Mayor Kyle handing out congratulations and well wishes. Like I said, we thought it was him, but it turns out it was Haley on his phone telling him, keep your head up, King. And in that moment, we learned that Mayor Kyle was actually on the phone with Patrice, giving her congratulations. So Pastor Bishop scamming ass Woodbine is the mayor of Chucalissa. And that's gonna prove to be a problem for all the sinners come next season, I'm sure. Anyway. So she's won the seat as the first female mayor of Chucalissa. Yay, historic, but boo, because she's a bullshit ass person. But we're gonna let her have it in the name of the Lord, I guess, child. All right. Andre addresses the crowd and he, tells them like, listen, I may have lost, but my time back home has basically renewed my passion for being here. Chucalissa has regained a son and I'm staying. And of course his wife is kind of side-eyeing him like, nigga, I thought we kind of made up who was going home. No, I'm staying. I'm creating my own law practice here. And that's just that. So, of course, wifey may or may not stay. We don't know. I don't see a reason why. Only for the fact that, maybe he's a lawyer now, so you have some sort of prestige because you have wanted him to be more than what you think he should have been. So, there may be a certain status that comes with him being a lawyer and a I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Hopefully. Also, I'm gonna put this in right here. I'm putting it at the end, but don't take another year to bring us back because I'm gonna forget about you. But we're gonna go on. All right. Mercedes has her trash bags full of money and her Little Murder outside. They head to the dressing room and they run into Uncle Clifford and he is sobbing. He is overcome with emotion at whatever that phone call was that he got at the end of the last episode. We found out it was the hospital calling to tell him about Ernestine. And we learned that she did not die and she is on the way home. Ernestine made it and she pulled through. And I'm just going to gloat in this moment and say I called it and that my girl had pulled through and she did not drink the water. Proverbial water that her daughter Buta was offering her. So she's beat COVID. She ain't symptomatic no more, except for this little cough she gonna have. But your girl made it, and so now she gonna be headed home. Okay, so we see Keyshawn and she's uncovering a car, which is gonna be her getaway vehicle, and a trunk full of money. And we also hear Haley narrating, just giving us basically the game on how to disappear. Of which she has a ton of experience at this point, apparently. But she, tells her live a life of cash purchases only. Never tell anybody where you're going, where you came from, your real name. Just all the guidance on how to disappear, which it's probably in vain, but we'll talk about it. All right, so Uncle Clifford and Murder are reminiscing about the night before. Blah blah blah. Gives him tips on how to improve his set for the next time. And he was like, okay, cool. I'll keep that in mind for when I go on tour today. And Uncle Cliff was like, you going on tour today? He's like, yeah, I'm leaving today. And Uncle Clifford knows like, okay, now I'm at the point where I have to let it go. Like the dream I've been living this whole however long he's been staying here with us. I gotta let him go be great. And he essentially kind of breaks up with him and lets him go. And he knows that Murder isn't built for the cage that is Mississippi, and he needs to go spread his wings. And he knows that the fling is over, and he wants him to move forward with who he knows he can be. He doesn't want him in a position to have regrets later on, and he also doesn't want to be responsible for dimming his light in the little town of Chucalissa. So just go ahead. He was definitely selfless in this moment. selflessness at its finest. You got to give up the love of your life so they can go be as great as they could possibly be. So that is what happened in that scene. And Murder, has a counter. He's like, okay, maybe I should come out now. I'm still early in my career. Maybe it won't be as big of a hit. He's like, listen, I'm not having none of that. We can only exist in this house and in this room, and that's good enough for me, essentially. And of course, Lil Murder's in his feelings about it, and now he wants to storm out of the house and get his shit and go on about his business. All right. Mayor Woodbine is already moving shit in the office. She's just tearing down pictures of interim Mayor Kyle. She is falling out of chairs. She is just all over the place. She cannot believe that she won, and neither can I. But we also see her on the news. Mercedes is looking at her on the news, and she's talking about ridding the town of its vices, and she plans to also continue being the bishop of her church at the same time, which I don't know how you're gonna be able to do both, but I'm sure you're gonna give it a good champion's effort in the next season. So Mercedes goes to the door. There's a bell, her doorbell rings, and she opens the door, and it is a poster, a picture, and it is one of her pictures from the art exhibit that Farrah put on in the last episode. And she also has a check for $30,000 that's in there. And she calls Farrah, and Farrah tells her, like, hey, the Mercedes experience was a hit. This is what I owed you. This is not the money that Cedric owed you, but this is what I felt was right to do, as in me using your liking. But not only am I going to give you the 30 stacks, that earns you royalties. Like, you basically have a ownership in exhibit. So for as long as it's earning royalties, or royalties never expire. So you're going to get paid for the rest of your life for being a part of, this awakening for both of us. So that was good. That was kind of her reckoning her final goodbyes to Mercedes, and also her, just a thank you for helping free her from the chains that is Coach Cedric. So that was really nice. I definitely appreciated her making it right by doing that, and it was made right for the foreseeable future, if not forever, by way of giving her royalty. She definitely went above and beyond on that. All right, there are back at Andre's house. There is ladies in the community, and they are lined up down the street, just giving him all types of sweet treats to ease his pain from losing the election. Haley is amongst the women in that line, dropping things off. And while the wife is just standing on the porch looking at this line of people just looking crazy and out of place, he mentions, not wanting to be a part of the baby mama antics, and because she assumed, she was like, listen, you wanted to get caught, didn't you? He was like, no, I'm not with that Jerry Springer baby mama stuff. And that, I feel like that kind of hurt her feelings a little bit, because she is pregnant, but she has not told him yet. So that's probably solidified her decision as to whether she gonna go on by her business and never tell him, which she probably is. So he also says that he's staying in Chuckalisa, and that his wife may or may not stay. We're not sure, but hopefully with time and forgiveness, she'll stay. So he's trying to rekindle his marriage. He's trying to get it back together. And now, Haley, you just kind of tossed off to the side. I guess which is a familiar feeling for someone that's never really had a family or a place as you have had. So yeah. All right. So then he remembers, hey, as she's walking up, hey, what did you mean to tell me last night? And she says, sometimes the word that are never unsaid haunt us the most, which means don't even worry about it, player. Don't you go ahead and be great. And tells him, hey, I'm gonna need you to be my lawyer in this contract I'm gonna need to write for this $10 million. So you just stand by, essentially, because she's still banking on Promised Land working in her favor, which immediately after this we're gonna know that it did not. So speaking of working out in her favor, it definitely did not. She took a gamble that did not pay off when it comes to negotiating the price for the pink. So she calls the old white lady, I don't know her name, and she was like, you offered me $5 million initially, and I'm feeling like 15. Why? Because the referendum has gone through despite Pastor Woodbine winning the election. And the lady tells her, like, listen, I don't even need the pink no more. I don't need you or the pink. What is you saying? And She was like, yes, you do. It's the last piece of waterfront property that's available in all of Chucalissa. Like, how you gonna do it? And casinos can only be built on waterfront properties. And she was like, yeah, not so fast. Let me get you together right quick, because when the city can bring the water to you, there's a lot more that can happen. So it turns out that Corbin was able to get the city to sign off on building a canal right in his backyard by way of his brother being the interim mayor. I guess a part of, being a part of the city. He signed off or built this canal in honor of Corbin. So that is now a waterfront property that can be used. They don't even need the pink anymore, which means the 10, 15, 5, any amount of millions that she was potentially going to get as part owner in the pink, she no longer, the deal is off the table. I don't even need your land. It don't even matter. All right. So, yeah, so there's no deals to be made for Miss Lakeisha Savage Aldenite Haley girl. And I don't know. I'm conflicted because I was kind of rooting for Haley just a little bit because she was going off the guise of helping giving Uncle Clifford half, which now that I think about it, she probably wasn't, because of what she did at the end of this episode. She probably was not. She was probably just playing off his emotions because she knew he was passionate about that location, but she wasn't gonna give him nothing. So now I changed my mind. Ha, good for you, and going over there and be a baby mama with them twins and just live your miserable life. Good job. All right. Uncle Clifford just brought Ernestine home, and she really don't want to hear nothing. He fussing all over her and just making a big deal and put your feet up and all this other stuff, and she don't want to hear it. She's like, listen, get off me. I'm not dead yet. But she is still coughing up a lung. But she's not symptomatic. She's not contagious, so she's just coming over the symptoms as people have that had that sickness. All right. So the doorbell rings, and it's Big L, one of the Africans that did work at the pink, and Duffy. Ernestine has called them to come and plan her homecoming party. She, of course, Uncle Clifford is not really having no parts of it, but she don't care nothing about that. She grown. She has a second chance at life, and she is going to celebrate this second chance. She's taking full advantage of it, and she is throwing a players' ball outside of the pink on tonight, and you can either get with it or you can get lost, but it is what it is. She gonna have a party to celebrate the fact that she made it through, as you should. This was definitely life. It was touch and go for a minute, so a celebration is fair. Also, the risk of getting sick again is possible, so understand both sides of the argument, but you're not gonna be able to tell Ernestine what to do, so it ain't much you can do about it. All right. As she heads upstairs, she's just talking trash. He envisions his mama. And she confirms, like, hey, Ernestine is telling him, like, worry about your own life. And the mom, the vision of his mom is like, yeah, she right. I came to give you a message. How you gonna let love slip from under you like that? By way of him telling Murder to basically go live your life. I'm straight. I'm cool. And he was like, Mama, you got some nerve when love took you right on up out of here. By way of you being, having legions on you, just, being on your deathbed, love put you there. And she was like, listen, love didn't kill me. I took a risk, and I knew that it was a risk that I was taking. And unfortunately, the disease took me out of here, which I would presume to be HIV or AIDS at this point. And she is also not bitter in the fact of knowing that a risk didn't pay off and she ended up paying the cost of her life. But she did tell him, like, hey, there's a reward. Sometimes there's a reward for the risk that you put out there for love. So basically, go on get your man. Go on get your man. Just stop playing and just skip off into the bushes. All right. At the supermarket, Keyshawn is pulled up in her getaway vehicle because somehow or another she's not going yet. Her and Murder are talking before he heads out for a tour, and I do put that in quotes because we know he's not going. I'm just gonna ruin it for you. He's not gonna go. And he gives her that money that he promised her a long time ago from their tour, and tells her that she's gonna need it out there in Cali. So now somebody else knows that Keyshawn is leaving. This was kind of doomed because there's too many people that knows where you were going. And Haley, a serial disappearing act, told you what you needed to do. But somehow, Murder Big Bone, Haley, it's quite a few other people that I'm sure knows that you are disappearing at today, that you're leaving today. And so anyway, they both vow to hold each other's secret close to the chest. She says, she says that she said her goodbye to Uncle Clifford, and she asked Murder, like, are you going to miss him on tour? And he's like, yeah. And she was like, well, I have to miss him, but you don't have to. Essentially means, you don't have to go on tour, but I have to leave the situation. And it's like, listen, we'll be good. You just go ahead and get those babies, and you get out of here. So she was so close. She was so close to being gone. Everything was set up. She had the money. She had the vehicle. She had the plan. But we're going to get into how it was forward. We're going to get there. Because it's pissing me off just thinking about it. But we're going to get there. All right, so Mercedes is in there setting up her studio. I'm assuming she used the 30 racks to go ahead and get her studio set up. And so she's putting the pictures from the exhibit of herself up and, giving us one last performance for the girls. Then in walks Mayor Bishop Woodbine. And, they trade a few insults, blase blah. And she asked Mercedes, like, hey, wasn't the studio supposed to be for kids? And she was like, yeah, it was, but now I'm teaching old bitches like you to, get their pole work together, which we presume to mean that she's teaching adults to kind of find their inner sexy, or I don't know if she's going to be training upcoming strippers. I don't know, but I know that it's not a kid's studio anymore because there is a permanent pole located in the building. So she's going to be doing something with adults as opposed to children at this point. Maybe some sort of empowerment as she has been able to pour into Farrah. All right, and so Pastor Woodbine tells her, like, Shell called up the hotline last night, the prayer hotline, basically just asking for forgiveness and for prayer, and that she had decided to go to rehab. And with her going to rehab, she's going to be leaving Terica with me. But listen, I'm the mayor, I'm the bishop now, and I got a lot going on, and I don't have time to be babysitting no grandpeople, no grandchildren. I have already raised my kids, so she gonna have to stay with you. Which, it was a favor. It was a nice gesture, just cloaked in, the little harshness that is Patrice Woodbine, which is older black women. They're going to give you a compliment, but it's going to be sprinkled in shade or sprinkled in malice. And you just have to take it and go with it. All right, so she is going to leave Terica with Mercedes until Shell gets out of rehab. Hopefully it's not for 30 days. Hopefully it's for an extended period of time so that they can, glean their relationship, make their relationship a little bit more feasible. But she's given her a chance to further her relationship with her daughter, which in this instance, that's probably the only honorable thing that Pastor Woodbine has done since I known her. So we're gonna give her a hand clap of praise for that. Good job, Mayor Bishop, or whatever the hell it is that you would like for people to call you now. Moving right along. All right. Haley storms into Uncle Clifford's office. She is upset about this deal he done waged with Corbin. Mayor Kyle, like I said earlier, has built this canal in honor of his brother Corbin, which now creates more waterfront property for us to build this casino on, thus not needing the pink, thus saving the building, getting Corbin what he needs, kind of benefiting everybody except Haley in the situation. And Uncle Clifford is like, listen, you don't have to worry about it because here's your check for $350,000. This is your initial investment, and this is the price I'm willing to pay to be rid of you forever. And she's going on and on about it's not fair to her. While he wasn't a majority owner, so how could Corbin create the deal? How could he negotiate? Well, in the great state of Mississippi, anything greater than 30% is enough to negotiate with, which is foresight for Uncle Clifford. When they were negotiating, he was sure to negotiate greater than 30%. So while he was going through the motions, maybe he had an ultimate plan, or maybe it just worked out that way, but he ended up with greater than a 30% stake in the pink. All right. And she's like, listen, do you know how much money you gave away to the white folks? We could have split it, blah, blah, blah. We could have split the millions. And then he was like, well, where would I go? As I keep telling you, the pink is more than a building. It is Uncle Clifford's life. It's her memories. It's her blood, sweat, and tears. Like, this is all she wants for her life. And so, yeah, you may have saved the club, but me and Mercedes saved your life by way of getting rid of Montavious. So I feel like it's It's the least you could have did was save the club. So you didn't do us no favors by saving it. So, girl, what you want? And he was kind of hurt that because he thought that she saved the club out of obligation to being a part of the family, but then she turned her back on them and kind of tried to snatch the place from under him. And she felt sorry for her. As he said, she's just a lost little girl with no family to call her own. And she's like, I don't need no family. I guess you do. You want family. You need family. You desire it and you deserve it. And I hope you find it somewhere else. Just not here. And I could agree. I feel like Haley wants that, but she don't want it. Well, it's one of those things where you know what you want, but you never had it, you never seen it, you don't know what it feels like, so you're not gonna let it, you're not gonna accept it. One of those type of things. So now she's it. Like she's just still going on and on and on, and she won't interest. And Big L and Diamond standing in the doorway, and they got their tools. They saw the shovel, the things that they used to cut up Montavious and give rid of that body. And Big L tells her, like, listen, getting rid of a body for you, getting rid of this man for you is compounded interest at this point, and it's more than enough. So we're gonna call it even. You just gonna go ahead and head it out. So go ahead and go, Haley girl. So I wasn't really sure. Now I don't know if that was a gentle reminder of what they did to Montavious to get rid of him, or a slight, we did this to Montavious and you can be next if you don't get on through. I don't know. It gave very much intimidation, and I was here for it because y'all should have did this shit a long time ago. So yeah, I think we're finally really rid of Haley / Lakeisha / Autumn, Summer, Winter, whatever her real name is, which Haley I doubt is actually her real name, but we're gonna keep going. All right, Keyshawn is at her stepmother's house to get the kids under the guise of them having a doctor's appointment. And that worrisome ass stepmama tells her that, oh, I saw your daughter and I just had to call Derek and tell him how beautiful she is, and how good of a grade of hair she's gonna have, and just doing shit she had no business doing. Because first of all, her daughter was watching the kids. Alicia was watching them, and I'm sure the stepmama just overstepped her boundaries. She called Derek, and he comes to get them. And the sister, you can see her standing in the back, and she is so sorry, and she is so sad that, I'm sure the sister knew what the plan was, but the stepmom was so busy not minding her goddamn business. I don't know. I'm still not sure if the stepmama didn't know, or if she got the information out of that sister and decided to be messy. But I'm going to hold out hope that she's not that trifling. And she's going, like I said, she's going on and on about the baby having good hair, and her having good help like Derek. And Keyshawn is starting to come. She's starting to unravel because she was so close and shit is falling apart. And I don't know. Y'all don't kill me. But I feel like I would have left. I'd have left them goddamn kids. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe had Derek not fractured that child's elbow, and I knew that he was only beating my ass and not the kids, I'd have left him because I knew he wasn't going to hurt him, and I was going to come back later. I don't know. It's a tough situation. I can't call it. It's not my life. I can't speak, but I don't know. Maybe she just felt like she had no choice, and so that's going to prove to be a downfall coming up. I'm going to get to it. All right. Andre's kind of trying to call Haley, but the number has changed, and so Haley did the disappearance act again, so he can't do nothing about it. He is also on his way into the prison to see his father, which I presume to be him, coming to terms with who he really is, especially since he's going to be staying in Chuckalisa. He's going to have to try to, choose to mend that bridge. Not that he really has to, because you're a murderer, sir. You're never getting out of jail. But, yeah, so maybe it's just something he wants to take on at this particular point in his life. All right. Your girl Keyshawn gets to the house, and Derek is sitting there playing with the kids, sitting on the floor playing with the churn. And she was like, I know what you're thinking, and so CPS and the cops come walking out the back. It's giving very much ambush. And they are there to investigate a mandated report of child abuse for her son, who had the fractured elbow and the bruises, which we know Derek did while she was on tour. But of course, he put it off on her. The lady shows her paperwork from her, checking the baby out of the hospital, and she tries to explain, but at this point, it's really nothing. Derek has put this plan in motion, and it's very solid. And she was like, yeah, that could be understandable, but the fact that we had a second report means we have to investigate. And it's a report from another neighbor claiming that they heard sounds coming from the house, and it's been happening since she got back from tour, which lets me know, like, maybe he realized when she got back from tour, like, she was a little more resistant. She wasn't really taking his shit as much, and so he was maybe putting his plan in motion. Because you've been having reports since she got back from tour, so again, it's giving setup. But now she has to comply with weekly check-ins for the next 6 months, psych evals, drug tests. She has to stay in that house, etc. And, all of it's just becoming too much. And she's, the lady's not saying it, but she's just hearing this lady say, "You not nothing." Like, it's just every negative thing she's ever heard in her life, all of this is coming back in this particular moment. And Keyshawn clicks the fuck out. She clicks out. She started beating Derek's ass. And while I was cheering her on for beating Derek's ass, it wasn't the right time or the right place. But, at least he got his ass punched for once. But she started whooping his ass, and in the melee of her kicking his ass, she hits an officer in the confrontation, and now her ass is going to jail. Keyshawn has let her emotions overtake her, and she is going to jail. So Derek has got exactly what he wanted. She's still stuck there for 6 months, or maybe more time, because she hit that officer, so she may be in jail. So like I said, so close but so far, but she got sucked right back in. And what was interesting about this thing to me is the fact that it was a real life depiction of how hard it is to escape a situation like that. Like, I don't know the number, don't quote me, but I remember seeing something years ago where it said a domestic violence victim plans to leave at least, or puts a plan in motion at least 7 to 10 times before they are actually successful. So this is maybe her first or second attempt. So she's going to have to keep trying to get away from this person, because we see the lengths that he's willing to go to keep her in this hellhole that is being in a relationship with him. So that just really upset my spirit. And that really just made me want to fight. But hopefully we can figure out a way to eliminate Derek from the earth, and then we can move on with our lives. But there's going to be a wrench thrown into that plan, and we'll get to that in a second also. All right. So Maine sees Mercedes get home, and she's, happy to see him. She introduces him to Terica, and Terica is over there cheesing a little bit too hard for me. She over there smiling a little too hard in Maine's face for my comfortability. And then says, like, "All right, you've been introduced. Go on about your business, because you're cheesing too hard." And then she's walking off. She's switching her little hips. Girl, if you don't go sit your little ass down, you already had a scare one time. Don't do too much. Not too fucking much, little girl. So now he got an attitude with her, because she was performing with Murder last night, and she feels as if he feels as if she done picked a side because the stage was lit up red. She's like, "Sir, it was a performance. What do you mean?" And so now he appears to have drawn the line on Mercedes because she performed with Murder, assuming so now she the ops, and he tells her, "You tell that gay dude to watch his back." And she was like, "Why are you saying that about Uncle Clifford?" She was like, and he's like, "I'm not talking about Uncle Clifford." So this is Mercedes' first time hearing the information about Lil Murder, and she's taken off guard, and Maine has drawn a line in the sand. So this is what I don't hope. Later on in the episode, when they get to the party, she tells Uncle Clifford, like, "Hey, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on Terry, because she thinks she grown. Her ass gonna be selling weed before I know it." So what I don't hope is that Terica gets an attitude with Mercedes, and she go over to join Maine's gang, or ends up messing around with Maine, because now he got an attitude with her for performing with Lil Murder. That's what I don't hope, but that is what I presume will happen, because Terica don't know how to sit down and be a 14-year-old, and Maine just gang shit, I guess. All right. We're at the Pink for the party, and like I said, everybody's partying with Ernestine for her celebration of life. They're down to the juke joint, or a player's ball, or whatever she wants to call it. And she then took a liking to the African, and so he up under her, and so Clifford is just working the room or whatever. And then one of her friends points her to Murder across the dance floor, and she's like, "You supposed to be gone." And he was like, "Listen, I couldn't leave without telling Ernestine goodbye, but we know he's really there under the guise of he's staying because he don't want to leave the second love of his life." But yeah, so Murder has not gone on this tour with Tina Snow. All right. Mercedes and Terica shows up at the club, and like I said, she told Uncle Clifford, like, I gotta keep an eye on her, and she thinks she grown, and she sees Uncle Clifford kind of glancing over at the Murder. She was like, "That's you, ain't it?" Now, of course, we know you haven't been paying attention. You haven't realized that the whole season. Maine just confirmed it for you when he said what he said just now. So Uncle Clifford was like, "Girl, let's just go to the kitchen. We'll talk in the kitchen. Now, don't be so loud." Because at this particular moment, they're still in the dark about the situation. So come on in here, let me explain, and don't talk too loud. All right. We see Big L, Diamond, and Big Booty inside just talking, shooting shit. And then Diamond gets a call. He gets up to go answer it. And you can see Big Bone kind of eyeballing, trying to see what's going on. And we learned that it's Keyshawn calling from jail. And, she tells him in parables, but hey, I thought I could get out, but he set me up, and my knight in shining armor, which would be Diamond, said he could resolve the situation. Can you resolve the situation? Which we're gonna use context clues to mean I was almost gone, and Derek done fucked up my plan. Can you kill this motherfucker? Can you kill this bastard? And Diamond, yeah, sure, absolutely. I've been waiting on the go. So yeah, I got you. And at this point, I don't feel no ways tired. I just hurry up and get Derek and going on about y'all life. Skip off into the woods with them kids. That's what I want for your life. All right. Like I said, I know it's a long one, but it's just a lot of information. It's jam-packed. All right. Uncle Clifford and Mercedes are in the kitchen, and they're talking, and he's happy that Autumn is gone, and he bought his club back, and he's just happy that Mercedes, his bottom bitch is back, and, she came back with a bang last night, and she tells him, like, sorry to burst your bubble, but last night was my final dance. I learned from you, to move in silence, especially after my mom did what she did to me. This is how I decided to bow out gracefully. This is it for me. And I'm not really leaving. I'm like graduating in a sense. I'm dreaming a new dream. Like you said, I'm dreaming a new dream, and that's it for me. And I can understand in true Josephine Baker fashion. You leave with class. You leave, when your time is up, and you bow out gracefully. So I can get jiggy with it. So Mercedes is essentially retired, and I'm okay with it. I can rest well in the fact knowing my girl went out on her own terms, how she wanted to, and still got her just due at the absolute end of the day. So yeah, Roulette is in the bathroom getting coked up, and another girl comes in asking her about Toya after she had been fired, saying she heard that Roulette had been taking care of her behind Uncle Clifford's back. And Roulette what we learned in this scene is that Roulette has gathered a stable of hoes, and she is lightweight pimping the girls out on the side outside the club. And another new girl wants to join, and she's giving a compelling speech. And she's like, "Listen, there's more money to be made outside of dancing, because at some point these men don't want the dream, they want the actual factuals. So, and they be wanting what I got to offer. So let's go ahead and do the thing." And so it appears she's gonna now join the stable of hoes that Roulette is pimping out the back door of the club. And that's obviously going to be a problem next season, because why is you pimping Uncle Clifford's hoes? I don't know. But I don't know. Everybody make a little money on the side outside the club. So we'll see how that could be a problem, because shit could definitely start to spill over, as it did with Antoine, whoever the dude was that Roulette was topping off in the club. Shit might get convoluted. So we'll see. All right. Murder's inside waiting to talk, and him and Clifford get a moment alone. And so they're chatting up, and Murder tells him that he ain't going on tour. I don't hear nothing what you're talking about. And he's a star, and he wants his own tour. He not riding nobody else's coattail. And Uncle Clifford's like, "Boys, you crazy. Like, Tina Snow was your ticket out. Like, gonna be great." Like, and not Uncle Murder. Murder tells him that every wave ain't really meant to be rode. Like, I want to forge my own path. And they're going back, like, being here is really not what I want for your life. Uncle Clifford is like, "Listen, I'm pushing you away. I don't want you to have resentment because you stay here on the account of me." And Big Murder tells him, like, "No, you're the one who's really afraid of the love, like all the love that you could receive from me. Like, open your heart and let me in." And it's like, "Listen, LaMarcus, you are half my age. What you know about love? And then, he got one little throw tear at me. And he says, may the sun find you in the darkest of shadows. And that was one of the lyrics that Teak tattooed on his chest before committing suicide. And that was also one of the lyrics that he slid to him under the door while he was in segregation. And, I guess that stuck with him throughout time. And then he goes on to tell, basically to portray to Uncle Clifford, like, I know a lot more than you think I know while I'm only half your age. And he tells him about the whirlwind romance that him and Teak had in prison, but that he couldn't love him out loud. And the only thing that he could do was carve out a little piece of heaven in the hell that was prison. And maybe that contributed to why Teak took his own life, because he could not. He wasn't in a position to love him out loud. He was in the closet for years, by way of being in a relationship with Teak, and it gained him nothing. So, I'm assuming he's gonna do it differently this time. And then Uncle Clifford, gives him this final, but what I don't want for you is to blame me, like I said, for holding you back, for you not reaching your highest star by way of staying here in little old Chuckalisa with me. And he reminds him, like, listen, it's not your choice. So it's not your weight to carry. It's not your way to carry. And it was just a whole lot of selfless going on. Like, go live your life. No, I want to be here with you. My life is fine. I'll figure it out at some point. But I understand, because you are on your way to a worldwide tour and you want to stay here for little old me. Go get your money, honey, because when shit get thick, when the light's getting cut off, you're not going to be thinking about this sort of this passionate dream that you created for the situation. So I understand what Uncle Clifford is saying, but Murder's mind is made up, so we're gonna go with it. All right, Big L comes out in that moment and grabs Uncle Clifford in a panic, and he takes him to the laptop. And it appears that Miss Haley, Lakeisha Savage Autumn girl, then wiped out his accounts. Now, she was part owner, so she was on the accounts. And the account is currently negative $24,000 in the hole. And because I told you, let me kill the bitch. I told you, let me kill her. So now these oxys you filed before are going to come in handy. And so I don't know if that means, hey, do you want to take some? Or if that means, hey, we need to sell this shit because we ain't got no money. But now Uncle Clifford is back in a financial bind for the third season in a row. And at this point, you might have to let the club go. You can't keep the shit afloat because shit keep happening. So I'm gonna need you to pull through. I need you to pull it together. Maybe to about halfway season 3. Like, we can't do financial straits for 10 seasons in a row. Okay? All right. We see Lakeisha, Haley Autumn, whatever girl, getting off the bus with her baby bump and her garbage bag full of money and her blonde wig. And she disappears into the night, which let's presume this to mean that she is the one that took the money. She took the $250K, I'm sure, that he gave her, as well as the $40,000 out of that was left in his account. And she is going off to disappear into another city with another name to screw over the next fool she comes across. Now, I am not of the belief that we are done with Miss Haley just yet, or whatever her name is, because I am also of the belief that Haley ain't her real name. But anyway, I feel like Big L's somebody's gonna have to go in and have to end it for her, because you're playing a dangerous game. Because remember, Montavious was chasing after you because you stole that $250,000 from him. Now, whether that was before or after the flood, I don't know. But you got a case of the sticky fingers or white collar crime, depends on who you ask. But you got a habit of taking shit from people, and that's not gonna fare you well. I mean, it's fared you well thus far, granted, but I don't know if it's gonna last you a lot longer in life. But Haley, so she did the Great Escape, and I don't know. I don't think we're done with her, but we're done with her for this season. All right, Uncle Clifford stumbles back outside, like I said, apparently high as hell, trying to numb yet another grand loss as it relates to this club. He takes to the dance floor and he feels somebody's hands around his waist. And it is Big Murder. He decided to come out on the dance floor and dance with his girl. Live, loud, out loud, in color, right here and right now. He don't want to live in the shadows no more. People can say what they want to say, and they enjoy their little smoocheroo and they dance under the night sky, and nobody cares who sees at this point. And that was just very, very, very sweet, because it was just a whole lot of ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs for the entire season. So I guess, he gonna jump out there and take a risk, and live out loud in his love and in his truth. Good job for you. Good job for you, Murder. Go ahead. Good for you, Glen Coco. All right. Moving right along. All right. We see Diamond go outside to his trunk to get ready to erase Derek from the earth. But before he can head out to be the knight, he's going to be the Black Knight, because Derek was the White Knight. He could be the Black Knight for Keyshawn yet again. Before he can do so, somebody jumps out of the dark and stabs him in the side and starts whooping his ass. And we know that person is a girl. We know it's Big Bone, duh. But then a dude comes out and starts helping the lady jump Diamond. Then they throw him in the trunk, and they were about to kill him, but they don't. That's too good for him. And Big Bone reveals herself and tells the other dude, like, hey, this is Diamond, the one that killed their lieutenant. So Montavious is a lieutenant in their gang. And we know Big Bone was sent there to figure it out. And we also see that Diamond is having like combat flashbacks, which was probably PTSD, but we'll call them flashbacks. He's having flashbacks of his time in the Army, because remember, he does have service experience, and he's having some visions of things that took place to him where he was at overseas. So hopefully that proves to be a strength in him getting out of the situation, because then they close the damn trunk, and Diamond is now kidnapped at this point. So that is how the episode ends. Diamond has been kidnapped by Big Bone and her posse, and they're presuming that he's the one that killed Montavious, when they are in fact incorrect. So that was a lot. That was a whole lot of information to give the people in one episode, but it's the season finale, and that's how that goes. I don't know. It was a whole lot. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this part. I feel like maybe it was just happenstance, but I felt like Haley maybe had something to do with Big Bone being there, because remember when she got hired, she insisted on Big Bone being one of the new girls, but that wouldn't make sense to me, because unless that was a diversion to take the heat off of her and put it on Diamond. But I don't know how you would invite Big Bone in without putting her onto your role in Montavious' death. I'm not sure, but y'all tell me what y'all think. So I'm gonna give y'all my little predictions for next season. And like I said earlier, Katori girl, do not take a whole year. I don't have the strength, I don't have the energy, and I don't have the remembrance. So come on, so I don't forget about your show. Don't take too long. Give me about 3 months and y'all come on back. All right. So I think Mercedes gonna get her studio up and running. Hopefully it'll be little to no problems there. Uncle Clifford, like I said, it's gonna have to overcome yet another financial setback as it relates to the paint. Maybe you can go ahead and reach out to Corbin, and you can give him a little bit more slave master play and get you some more money, to build it back up. That's a quick resolution. Haley, whoever she is, hopefully we find, maybe we can get like flashbacks to find out who she really is and how she got to be such a treacherous son of a bitch. Maybe that'd be great for next season. Pastor Woodbine, we know that she's going to be a problem because she wants to rid the Chuckalisa of the sin that is Sodom and Gomorrah. So hopefully I'm thinking she's going to be an adversary against the Pink yet again come next season. I'm assuming that they're going to torture Diamond to figure out what his role was in Montavious' death. But my hope is that his military training is going to help him get him out of that situation so that he can go ahead and hurry up and finish Derek off, and we can, get that squared away. Roulette is, like I said, Roulette is going to be pimping the girls on the side, and it's probably going to spill over into the Pink at some point because somebody going to snitch, somebody going to have attitude, somebody going to do something they have no business doing, and that's going to fall apart. So that is it. It has been one hell of a ride. It has been a great ride. Like I said, I am obsessed with the show. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know some things y'all find out in the last episode, what y'all think about some of the other episodes. Drop it down in the comment bar. Like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever it is that you feel like doing, and I'll see you on the next one. Next episode, next season, whatever comes first. Peace.